This is the most photographed castle on Earth, and almost everyone standing in front of it believes they're on solid ground. They're not. They're standing on a roof. Beneath the hub of Magic Kingdom runs a 9-acre industrial complex, nearly 400,000 square feet of corridors, power, water, and machinery. The trash, the deliveries, the wiring, the workforce, all of it moves down here, completely unseen. What guests call the ground floor is actually the second story. But the real story isn't the secret city. It's that by every rule of physics, this city should have been impossible to build. Because this was a swamp. Dig down just a few feet here, and you don't hit dirt. You hit water. Central Florida sits on a foundation of sand over porous limestone, a landscape engineers call karst. Rainwater carves channels and caverns straight through the bedrock. It's the same geology that swallows roads into sinkholes overnight. And sitting on top of all of it, the water table, the level at which the ground is fully saturated. In this region, it can sit just inches beneath your feet. This is what makes a normal basement here a non-starter. Excavate below the water table, and groundwater floods the hole as fast as you can pump it out. The saturated sand around it has almost no strength. The walls slump and collapse like a sandcastle in the surf. And there's a deeper enemy: buoyancy. A hollow concrete structure surrounded by water behaves like a ship's hull. Displace enough groundwater, and the water pushes back up. An empty basement here doesn't just leak, it tries to float. To hold one down, you'd be fighting hydrostatic uplift forever, with pumps that can never switch off. Digging down wasn't expensive. It was a losing battle against physics. So the engineers did something radical. They refused to fight the water at all. Instead of digging the tunnels down into the swamp, they built them on top of it, at the existing ground level. Then, they buried the entire complex under millions of tons of earth and built the park on the new artificial surface above. They didn't excavate a basement. They manufactured one by raising the world around it. But this solution created a monster of its own. To bury a 9-acre concrete network and raise the park grade by roughly 14 feet, the engineers needed earth, a staggering amount of it. More than 7 million cubic yards. You can't truck that in. Not without a fleet running for years. So they didn't bring the dirt to the site. They carved it out of the site. Right in front of Magic Kingdom, crews excavated a colossal pit. The future Seven Seas Lagoon. Roughly 200 acres of earth, pulled from the ground and repurposed. It's one of the most elegant moves in the entire project. The hole and the hill were the same problem, solved once. In civil engineering, it's called a cut and fill balance. The volume you cut from the lagoon equals the volume you fill over the tunnels. Nothing imported, nothing wasted. But you can't just dump wet swamp fill on top of a tunnel and call it a foundation. Saturated soil is heavy, weak, and unstable. So the spoil had to be drained and dried, then laid down in thin layers, called lifts, each one compacted under heavy rollers before the next went on. Layer by layer, the engineers built up a dense, load-bearing embankment that could carry castles, crowds, and parades without settling. The result was a man-made hill hiding a man-made city. The added weight did something clever too. It pressed down on the soft ground beneath, squeezing out water and consolidating the soil into a firmer base. The very dirt burying the tunnels helped stabilize the land they sat on. And that giant hole out front, filled with water, it became the lagoon, turning a pile of construction spoil into prime waterfront and an arrival route by boat. One excavation, a buried city, a stabilized foundation, and a lake, all at once. Step inside, and the magic gives way to machinery. This is the nervous system of the park. And in 1971, it ran on technology decades ahead of its time. Start with the garbage. Magic Kingdom doesn't haul trash through its streets, it fires it through the walls. The system is called AVAC, Automated Vacuum Collection, engineering imported from Sweden, and the first installation of its kind in the United States. Refuse dropped at collection points across the park is launched through 20-inch underground pipes at 60 miles an hour to a central compactor at the park's edge. The physics is beautifully simple. Massive industrial fans evacuate the air from the pipe, dropping the pressure on one side. Now, the ordinary atmosphere behind the trash is at higher pressure, and that imbalance does the work. The air doesn't suck, it pushes, racing in to fill the void and dragging the trash with it. Valves fire in sequence, opening one line at a time so each burst of waste gets its own clear runway through the network. No trucks, no bins on the curb, no smell. Just air, pressure, and a city that cleans itself from the inside. But trash is only one tenant down here. Running through this same concrete spine, high voltage power, water mains, communications, and the enormous ductwork feeding the park's air conditioning. Routing all of that through one continuous corridor is its own engineering puzzle. Heat, vibration, and electrical interference have to be kept apart. Lines need separation, shielding, and clearances, so a fault in one system can't cascade into the next. And this is the genius of putting it all in an accessible corridor, instead of burying it in dirt. In a normal city, fixing a water main means jackhammering a street and shutting it down for days. Down here, every line is exposed, labeled, and reachable. A crew walks up and fixes it, while the park above runs on, undisturbed, never knowing anything happened. And overseeing it all, a central brain monitoring tens of thousands of park functions every second. Fire systems, security, power, show timing. The fantasy above is a performance. Down here is the engineering that makes the performance possible. Step back, and the achievement comes into focus. Faced with ground too wet to build on, the engineers didn't conquer the swamp. They outthought it. They inverted the entire problem, refusing to dig down, choosing instead to raise the world up. That idea, separating the human experience above from the machinery that serves it below, wasn't just a theme park trick. It became a blueprint. Modern developments now bury infrastructure in service corridors, route waste through pneumatic tubes, and design the working layer of a city to stay invisible. Disney built a working prototype of that future in a swamp in 1971. So the next time you see that castle, remember what's really holding it up. Not solid ground, a buried city, a drained swamp, and one of the boldest pieces of upside-down engineering ever attempted. Completely invisible, right beneath your feet. Because the best engineering isn't the kind you admire. It's the kind you never even know is there. This is the Engineering Edge, where we dig into the systems the world is built on. Subscribe, and we'll show you the hidden machinery behind the things you walk past every day.